lot going on right now to unpack because it seems like there's some things that people are beginning to put in play. They're ready to change up how the NFL do business, depending upon who it is. There's gonna be a lot of folks out here that's gonna try to challenge the status quo, and there's gonna be some folks that's gonna come up short. And I kind of feel bad that this is gonna take place, but I understand why. We're gonna talk about that right after this. Y'all already know it's another episode of Blow the Whistle with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, tap in a friend or two and tell them to come on in. This is Tomorrow Leader Sports Network, but this is a segment of Blow the Whistle with your host, Coach Walker. And guys, we're going to talk about some crazy, chaotic things that's going on right now because I know many of you are like, Coach, where you been? We ain't seen you in a couple of days. What's happening? I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of content that I put together for you guys with a couple of shows that I had set up. And I kind of felt like that was expired news, so to speak. So I wanted to make sure I wanted to tap in on this particular subject that I had originally started on, and then I backed off of it because I'm like, a lot of folks, they're talking about it here and there, but I just want to see exactly where this is going to go. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump right on into this thing because, I keep saying Deion Sanders is like E.F. Hutton. Whenever he talks, everybody's listening. And when they're listening, they're trying to figure out a way to dissect exactly what it is that he's trying to say. With a message that he put across to the world for them to hear within that NFL sanctum, and letting them know right off the rip, listen, we're going to have some say on what Shedeur, Travis Hunter, and Shilo is going to go come next season when they get into the NFL draft. And if you didn't quite catch where all of this is stimulated from, RG3 has started this thing off a week or so back talking about Caleb Williams over at USC. Him possibly going to the Chicago Bears and looking at how everything turned out with Justin Fields over there with the Chicago Bears, how they didn't give him the necessary things that he needed to be successful. You had two different offensive coordinators that came in there during his tenure while he was there with the Chicago Bears. Not only that, but you had a head coach that didn't quite know what the heck was going on. I mean, I don't know if he knew if the day was spinning or if everything was standing still and all he had to do was just take steps forward to go ahead and push that program where it needed to go. But I say all of that to say, looking at how everything is beginning to evolve, especially with a lot of these athletes with the NIL, with all these NIL deals going on, we see what's happening now in collegiate sports where the athletes is having a little bit more say as far as where they want to go, how they want to move, things that they want to do with their careers. And these coaches are beginning to get pissed off with how things is going on, and they want the NCAA to do something immediately. Well, now we got none other than head coach Deion Sanders, and letting these folks know, he letting these billionaires know now. Now let's be clear with this. Let me be quite clear. Deion Sanders have worked. He's played in the NFL. He's been a major league ball player, two-time Super Bowl champion, and a gold jacket winner. Let me make sure I put that out there. He has relationships with a lot of these owners, and a lot of these owners understand where he's coming from. There's going to be some of these owners who they don't quite care for the brash and the showmanship that Coach Sanders come with, the flash. A lot of these folks, they still stuck in the 1920s that's owners of these teams and just can't get out the way and understand that, listen, this is more than just entertainment. Put a damn team out there that's willing to get out there and compete to play some freaking games. But I'm going to leave all of that for another day. We ain't going to touch on that. But this is where I'm going with this is, Coach Sanders is trying to make sure that he positions his son as well as his sons. Can't forget Shilo, because Shilo is the CEO of the head crack game. You gotta give Shilo his props too. So like I said before, that young man can get out there. He'll knock your block off coming across that middle. But how they trying to change up certain things as far as within the NFL with this tackling and whatnot, there's gonna be some things you're gonna have to polish up just a little bit to make sure they ain't got, the folks ain't out there being crybabies when he come across that thing and crack their ass. But all I'm saying is that sometimes you gotta understand what's going on and how this thing is gonna go. But I say all of that to say, Coach Sanders is making it clear that Shedeur's played in Jackson. He's played in Boulder. You're looking at a lot of these kids that's going to play at going to play at some of these cold weather organizations that come from the sunny states of California, come from the West Coast, come from down south, and you want to put them out there in the freezing cold and act like they really going to get out there and be able to win some games. Now, I'm being honest with you, y'all probably like, Coach, come on now, dog. I know daggone well you ain't rolling with that. Listen to me. Can I be candid for a minute here? I know many of you might sit there and say, Coach, there's no way you're going to sit there and say you agree with that. I don't. The problem I have with it, the problem I have with that is, and you hear me say this all the time, these young folks don't love the sport like many of us love the sport. They like the sport. They like the idea of them getting a big bag to go out there and play, to make a big play out there on the field. They like the idea that because of their talent, you got to pay me. They like the idea that so many folks have kissed their behinds from Little League, middle school, high school, college, and now we're going to go to the pros. And the sad part about this is there's so many old coaches that are in the NFL as well as in the NCAA coaching these kids. They don't know how to adapt to coach these young folks. They don't know how to adapt as far as with getting the most out of the athlete, as far as what they need to do for them to get out there on the field and contribute. Remember that old saying, there's no I in team? Well, guess what? They sure feel there's an M-E, and they go say it's all about me. Every time they want the ball or they get out there and make a tackle, it's all about me. And I'm just like, listen, guys, hey, watch where this sport is ready to go within the next 10 years. And y'all gonna come back and say, Dad, Coach, you were spot on with this thing. Look, I'm not trying to say that the sport is gonna go belly up. What I want people to understand is they're trying to devalue the athletes out there on the field. Yeah, they're going to make it a little safer for them to go out there and play because, as you see, the hip tackle is out now. They've taken that tackle out of the game. So you're going to get flagged for that. But now you're going to have a whole bunch of officials out here trying to figure out, is that a hip tackle or is that not a hip tackle? So you're going to see a whole bunch of flags going on out here in the game, and you're going to see a whole bunch of putting on like somebody's really hurt when they not, just to get a flag thrown. But watch how this thing going to turn out. But where they're going with this is, if you didn't pay attention to what happened with Saquon Barkley, where they devalued him as a running back and made his stock value plummet. So now the running backs before, where they was making $15 to $20 million a year, they're not making that no more. Now they making $2, $3, $4, $5, maybe $7 million a year. You get what I'm saying? The quarterback is the one making the 50s, 60s, and half of these cats out here can't even throw the daggone ball to hit the side of a barn if the barn was 2 yards in front of them. I'm just saying. But don't let me get started on some of these DBs out here, because as Nick Saban wanted to say, hey, we're trying to, we're not able to get out here and develop these athletes because they come into the program so quick and then so quick they leave. Coach, understand one thing. You've had time to develop players. All you've really done was stockpile players over the years, and then as one left, as one graduated or moved on and went somewhere else, you had another one that you could plug in if they had some type of time left, eligibility left for them to get out there on the field and play. So a lot of these athletes now, they understand it, and they want their kudos. But we're not talking about that right now. Let Coach get back to the thing at hand. Everyone's looking at what Eli Manning was able to do, was it in 2002, 2004, where he was able to, buck and say, hey, I don't want to play for the San Diego Chargers. I want to go, I don't want to go there. And what he ended up doing was he actually did his due diligence. He had conversations with Drew Brees, and he was able to get some information as far as how they developed him to become the quarterback that he was able to become. And right off from there, he understood that was not the place for him to go. He tried to secretly have a conversation with them. I believe Marty Schottenheimer was the coach at that time. And he wanted to let them know, hey, listen, guys, it's nothing against you. I just don't want to come here and play. I don't want to play for you guys. So they he told them, look, y'all draft me, I ain't coming. So as the story goes, we saw him get drafted anyway, but there's another guy that actually did this before him. And the young man, actually, there's two guys that did it before him. One of them is my quarterback. Oh, my quarterback. John Albert Elway Jr. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Denver Broncos. Remember, he was a two-sport athlete, standout at Stanford. He played baseball as well as football. John played he played summer baseball with the Yankees. So, George Steinbrenner, he was salivating at the mouth saying, whoa, if he's talking about not going to playing NFL, I got me a starting outfielder right there. And the Yankees going to be that deal. I mean, of course they went ahead, they was winning championships anyway. But just think, if John Elway was with the Yankees, what could have been? I'm just saying. But looking at how everything played out, John Elway ended up going to play for the Denver Broncos because I believe it was the Indianapolis coach. He told Mr. Irsay, "I'm not coming to play for you." Yeah, he told us, "I'm not coming to play for you." Another person that did the same thing that John Elway did was Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson, another two-sport athlete. Tampa Bay Buccaneers wanted to draft Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson wasn't hearing that. Bo Jackson said, "Hey, I'll go play baseball," which is what I was doing. So he went ahead. He ended up with the Raiders, and he played baseball with the White Sox as well as the Kansas City Royals. So looking at what he was able to do as far as flexing his muscles on where he wanted to go, people don't understand that. And that's why I said you have to have the ability. You got to have the skill set to be able to do that. So now my question is, for all these athletes that's hearing what Coach Prime just said, how many of you out there play two sports? How many of you out there are great at playing two sports? Can you demand from these programs, from these organizations, these NFL organizations, when it comes time for you to get drafted, will you be able to demand that type of cachet from them to hear you out as far as, okay, well, no, we ain't gonna pick him, we'll let him go. But as they stated before, you want to at least make sure you're a top 5 pick and not a top 25 pick or a top 30 pick, and you end up getting drafted in the second round and you lose out on a whole lot of money. But with all of that being said, when you look at what's going on with Caleb Williams right now coming out of USC, RG3 stood up for that young man and stated that he should not want to go there. He should do the same thing Eli did, which is reach out to the previous quarterback that just left and ask questions. Now, did Caleb Williams do that? Don't know. Caleb Williams did go to the combine. However, he did not participate in the combine. He stood there and watched and looked at everything go on, and he did a pro day. Same thing with, what's the young man, Harrison. Harrison was another one that everybody wanted them to move to the beat of the drum. It didn't happen that way. And you already know his daddy, Marvin Harrison Sr., who played for the Indianapolis Colts, who played alongside with Peyton Manning. Phenomenal wide receiver. Like I said, he got the skills that pay the bills. That young man would definitely go in the top 10 of somebody's team this upcoming draft. So we're going to see how that's going to take off as well. But I'm just waiting to see how all of this is going to uncover and see exactly what's going on, because there's going to be a lot of people out here that's going to be upset when these athletes start coming in and start demanding what they want. Listen, it's beyond time for them to do it, guys. Regardless of the fact if you like it or love it, it's beyond the time. It's beyond the time for it to happen. These folks are changing up the rules to the game to add more games. But the athletes, I mean, what more are they getting paid? Like I said, the athletes are always the one getting shortchanged based on what the owners want. So once again, I want to see how this is going to work. But like I said, Coach Prime said what he said. Now, I mean, to me, I think it's a win-win. I think it's a win-win. I think it may work for Shedeur Sanders as well as Travis Hunter. I believe it possibly will work for Shilo. My only issue is, depending upon how this goes, how many athletes after these 3 young men that's going to come into the NFL, how is this going to work for them? Because you can see, you can just envision real easy. If you sit back and close your eyes, I'm pretty sure you sit there and say to yourself, this ain't going to bode well for a lot of people. Because there's a lot of athletes out there that don't have the abilities that these young men have. And some of you are already saying, Coach, they ain't even got the ability to be sitting down trying to command this anyway. But because it's Deion Sanders, everybody wants to hear it and talk about it. Again, guys, I'm not going to say it's funny. This is going to be amusing to see how this turns out. Shedeur Sanders, Shilo Sanders, Travis Hunter, these three young men got to have some phenomenal seasons this upcoming season to be able to put down or tell anybody what they want to do. If not, this is going to be ugly. this is going to be ugly, and I want to see exactly how this is going to play out. But you know what? I ain't going to hold y'all no longer, guys. Like I stated before, we've seen a lot of athletes in the past make this, we've seen several athletes in the past make this decision to move in the manner in which these guys are looking to move. I'm wanting to know, will this become the new wave of how things are going to be done? Because there's going to be a lot of folks out here that's going to be upset. There's going to be a lot of folks out here upset, especially if this goes this year and then years after, it starts, things start shutting down and things don't quite move the way that they expect them to move. And people begin to say, you know what, we're going to take control. We're going to take our control back of this. Because think about it. They'll let you get away with it once. But after that one time, then they start seeing folks start coming in by the droves trying to do it, they're going to shut it off. So this ain't like the NCAA. Where the NCAA say, hey, here, y'all, hey, all you institutions out there, y'all make your rules as far as NIL goes. We talking about some billionaires over here. I want to see how many of these jokers going to fold on this. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be real interesting to see. But guys, Coach going to go ahead and get up on out this thing. But until next time, be the one in lead.